the largest threats that are, posed to the progressive movement, the progressive agenda, are not entirely made up by conservative voices and conservative propaganda and conservative pundits. Destiny has been banned from Twitch platform where he started streaming all the way back in 2011. It's been 11 years since then. One of the trailblazers, not only within streaming, but also within politics on streaming and gaming platforms as well. And he was banned just a few days ago. And the cited reason was for hateful conduct, I believe it was. Now, before we get into anything, we have to do the obligatory Twitch for not giving a reason. Twitch's moderation policy, Twitch's enforcement policy is inconsistent, it's unclear, it's not transparent, it's a mess. Imagine you're somebody who you built your entire livelihood on the website that is Twitch, main people that bring in revenue for Twitch, right? The streamers. And you've been doing this for like 11 years and you get banned and you aren't even given a reason. You're given the broad kind of like category for what you were banned for, but not a VOD, not a timestamp, not a description for what it was. I don't know what to say there. Twitch, why? Just fix your moderation. Me saying this isn't going to change anything. They've been this awful with this for a while, but oh my god. We need to have a reason. We need to know what's going on because people still don't know exactly why Destiny got banned for this. And the reason why nobody knows for sure is because Twitch doesn't tell us for sure. So yeah, that's point number one. Twitch, fix your goddamn moderation, okay? The reason to this isn't particularly significant. Some people have been talking about trans stuff, and there's been a lot of discussions about Destiny right now being transphobic and not caring about, trans rights and doing it for, like aesthetic in the past or whatever, and it just being a thing that, doing for like a contrary reason or, whatever, any number of things behind Destiny being transphobic. And I just have to say, when it comes to trans issues specifically, just like with a lot of other stuff in his career, Destiny's been a trailblazer on that. Before it was popular and before it was relatively safe to talk about, trans rights on Twitch, on Twitter, Destiny was out here, okay? Destiny was out here talking about, talking to Sargon of Akkad, reviewing videos of Ben Shapiro, having debate after debate, affirming the validity of trans people and supporting, their rights in general society, their access to medical treatment that they need. And for people to just flip that on because of something in regards to transgender people in sports, and to say that he's like a wholly transphobic person for that, it seems ridiculous to me. It seems absolutely insane, and it seems to completely ignore all the history and all the good and the aggregate impact he still has in regards to trans issues. Like we can just run a brief experiment right now. We can Google or we can search on YouTube Destiny transgender. We'll just do this. It's going to be weighted towards the more recent stuff, obviously, but I mean, here we have one just a year ago. One of pretty well performing video on his channel, 256,000 views, where he debates a conservative into accepting a pro-trans position. This is a conservative streamer as well. I think it was, I remember it wasn't Lecture Fan. It was Rob Noor. I think he debated here. Yeah, and then we have the more recent stuff as well. Then we have discussions with Mr. Girl, where again Destiny takes a pro-trans position here. We have a trans people in sports thing 2 years ago. I haven't watched this one, so I don't know what this is about. Debate with Ariel Scalsella, again, in favor of, trans rights and stuff. Sex and gender are the same thing, responding to a Ben Shapiro video in which he disagrees with Ben Shapiro 4 years ago. Way before it was popular, or it was more relatively safe to talk about, stuff like this. Talking to XUC, one of the biggest streamers on the platform, and clearing up some misconceptions people have about transphobia and what it means to be transphobic and those types of things. Destiny debating again on gender stuff with Sargon of Akkad, one of the biggest YouTubers, at the time when it comes to the skeptosphere, which was at the time basically the political community. I don't know what to say for people that saying that, oh, he's been transphobic all along or whatever. Destiny's had a massive impact in making this a safer space and a place that is more progressive and is more in line with the reality when it comes to trans issues. And people throwing all that under the rug because of a rather niche disagreement specifically about sporting events and trans people's participation there. I think it's pretty silly. I want to say that as well. But then I want to talk about the broader effect of this on just the space as a whole, really. I think that Destiny's presence in online politics, I think it's a positive one, and I think that his removal is going to be pretty negative. Just to be clear, for the people that might not know a lot about me or my content, just because I'm saying all these good things about Destiny now, doesn't mean I'm uncritical of him. By no means is the case. I've had 2 direct debates with Destiny and 4 videos that were made just to critique something that Destiny has done or something that he believes. And these critiques have ranged from his platforming of Orange Southern to his awful Twitter behavior to his equating of socialists and Nazis to NFT stuff. So yeah, just because I think that holistically has a positive effect on the space here and that his ban is going to be negative, that doesn't mean I'm like some, uncritical DGG cultish, sycophant who is unable to critique him for anything. I critique him when I think it's justified, and I defend him when I think that's justified. And in this instance, I think that his ban is something that's going to be negative. Thus, I'm defending him, and I'm making this video in support of him. So, first of all, I would be, amiss if I didn't mention all the other people that have been motivated and inspired to do streaming stuff because of what he did. People like, big streamers like Vosh, like Hassan, that wouldn't be anywhere near where they are right now, if even streaming at all, if it wasn't for Destiny. I'd also say myself, I probably wouldn't be streaming at all if it wasn't for Destiny. My key influencers when I started was Destiny and Bosch, and I mean, Bosch kind of came from Destiny's community, so I guess it all loops back to Destiny. So I know I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys. I wouldn't be, making my videos, making my research documents, having my debates, having my discussions if it wasn't for Destiny. And I think that's a positive, thing that should be recognized here. I also think that Destiny did something fairly unique when it comes to engaging and opening up new discussions. And this is kind of like you have the what's it called, the human centipede of Twitch politics, they call it, where something originated with Destiny and then it spreads throughout there. And I think that force of like opening up new things is something that's been traditionally taken by Destiny, and I think that's what's exactly going to happen when it's gone is just going to become an infinite looping circle jerk. I don't know, we'll find out. Furthermore, when it comes to a lot of the other major political voices on this platform, such as for instance Hassan, Destiny was a very important counterweight to that, because Hassan is, and I cannot stress this enough, a dumb fuck. And nothing has really demonstrated this as well as the most recent stuff in regards to Ukraine and Russia. This is not now something where, you talk about politics a bit with a webcam in front of maybe, like a few thousand game-oriented people, then people like learn about it because it's like interesting or whatever, or it's fun to talk about or anything in relation like that. Now we have streamers like Hassan who get, thousands and thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of people who at some point during the day drop in and watch, Hassan's stream on the daily basis, that go and check it out. They're mainstream articles about Hassan, even some about Destiny, some about Vosh. Huge spheres of influence. They're playing with politicians, for fuck's sake, and to have one of the biggest voices right now on Twitch, which was Hassan then, spreading like misinformation and Russian propaganda basically that aids the Russian cause and aids the Russian narrative is absolutely terrible. And one of the key people on Twitch pushing back against that was Destiny. He had a period where he was in his League of Legends phase, which periods we shall not mention. But beyond that, he was the biggest streamer there on Twitch that was able to effectively push back against what Hassan was doing. And obviously, I mean, Hassan is still bigger by scales of magnitude, but Destiny was still there. He was an important counterweight to Hassan in this instance. And now that we've lost that, and Vosh is banned as well, like, what are we going to have for counterweight to that type of thing? And I can tell you this, okay? Spreading misinformation and spreading propaganda and framing things in a way that is beneficial to Russian interests, a country that specifically has focused very heavily and recognized the importance of influencing people through the internet historically. Yeah, like that type of rhetoric that Hassan is engaging in there that is benefiting the Russian cause is way more harmful than whatever niche disagreement that Destiny might have in regards to the transports things. Which, once again, not to diminish its importance, not to say it's insignificant, not to say it doesn't warrant thought, not even to say that Destiny's correct on it. But holy fuck, we need to have a holistic perspective of this. And we need a counterweight to these types of things, and Destiny's been doing that previously. We are not sure exactly what's going to happen next. And also, I just want to do one more extra piece of analysis thing. While, Hassan is on there on stream spreading Russian misinformation and supporting Russian framing of events, Destiny's like out there debating one of the most influential conservative pundits, of his age, of the young age, which is Nick Fuentes then, who was literally speaking to Congress people, who has amassed an entire political platform on his own, on Russia-Ukraine, and absolutely demolishing him in doing that. And yeah, what do we have now? We don't have that person who's debating, right-wingers with real political power and performing well in debates of importance about real-life events, about an ongoing war that's going on. But we still have Hassan Piker spreading, Russian misinformation on the platform. Yeah. Furthermore, we have seen, the space becoming more and more left-leaning, generally. The Twitter spaces, of course. But I don't know if Twitter is something that's beneficial to talk about now, but Twitch especially has become more and more left-leaning. And I think that's largely a positive thing, obviously, because the gaming sphere generally was really, really right-wing before. But, and I'm sure everybody here will recognize this, there are absolutely times where it goes too far. And we get into a position where a lot of left-wing people are really out of touch with what is going on in broader communities. And I think I said this way back, and then I kind of chilled on it a bit, and now it's kind of been brought to my mind again. I don't know if I would say the statement with the exact same amount of, in the exact same way as I did before, but I can easily say this. The largest threats that are, posed to the progressive movement, the progressive agenda, are not entirely made up by conservative voices and conservative propaganda and conservative pundits. A portion of the largest, issue, the largest threats to the progressive movements that we have right now are progressives. Are progressives that are out of touch, are progressives that don't face enough pushback, are progressives that don't know how to communicate with regular people, and are progressives that are, focusing on something that is way too far outside what's going on right now, where people can't relate to it, where their prescriptions don't match the reality of many people, especially working class people living today, because you're too focused living in, the Twitch politics world, right? Where everybody is like a anarcho-syndicalist, futurist, transhumanist, something, and where you missed out on wait, hold on, let's bring it back to a minute, okay? We don't live in the Twitch politics space. Twitch politics space exists within real politics space. And in real politics space, that doesn't matter. We need to focus on what's going on right now. And I'm afraid that without those, more kind of counterweight people, like Destiny has historically been, where we kind of whoa, hold on, what the fuck, what are we talking about? We kind of get lost. And when I'm saying this specifically, I'm also reminded of a clip that I want to show right now to put into words way more effectively than I ever could, what I'm talking about. And I'm gonna hand it over to my friend Bastiat now for this.
Why can't anybody fucking be normal on this website? Jesus Christ, why can't any of you people be normal? Why is it like this? All the time here on Twitch and Twitter, it's always just some goddamn communist, and somebody comes in and says, well, actually, slavery wasn't that bad. God, just be normal. Please. Be normal. Be one of these normal people you're going to deal with in everyday life who isn't out here just kind of just trying to refight the Eastern Front. My God.
Yeah. Basically, Bastiat putting in an eloquent fashion the thing that I'm talking about. And I'm overall worried about that. But more than anything, what has, been removed from Twitch, and once again, I should mention that this doesn't mean that Destiny's gone entirely. He's probably still going to keep streaming on YouTube, but we'll see what happens. Everything's a bit up in the air at the moment, or, when it comes to even ban revokes. Maybe he'll get back to Twitch at some point in the future, but who knows, according to some internal things at Twitch, they've been wanting to get rid of him for a while. But what we've also lost is an overwhelmingly progressive voice and progressive political platform right now on Twitch. Somebody who is, to my knowledge, the only political streamer who has ever spent real resources, real logistical, information, real people on the ground, and has mobilized their capital and their assets towards affecting real political change. And I'm talking about Destiny's canvassing efforts. And Destiny, just the things he talk about on stream, overwhelmingly progressive. Now, he may not look like a progressive to a lot of people who are in Twitch politics. He might not look at like, oh, is he really a progressive? Hold on, let me think about that for a moment. And if you're thinking about that, if you're even questioning whether or not Destiny's really progressive, you have spent too much time on the internet. You have spent too little time touching grass recently. And you need to get back in touch with where the real political paradigms are at and where the real political climate at. Because I guarantee you, if you kidnapped any random person on the street and you force them to watch Destiny content, now if you force them to watch League of Legends, they would just fucking die on the spot, obviously. But if you force them to watch political League of Legends content, do you think they would have a single question in their mind about whether or not this person is left-leaning or right-leaning, whether or not they're progressive or conservative? The answer to that is no. When it comes to economic positions, social democracy, when it comes to social positions, LGBT rights, talking about systemic racism, defending BLM, and places that he's done it in person as well in hostile environments, like those Jesse Lee Peterson panels. Destiny's overwhelmingly progressive, and he's a really big voice, and he's an effective voice at it as well. And that's also been lost now because of what could be like a niche disagreement on stuff like this. But even regardless of the reason why he got banned, the fact that people are celebrating it is also just such a failure to consider a holistic analysis. So, all in all, I want to say that I think that Destiny getting banned is a negative thing. Believe it or not, after all this, if you got that message, that little tone that I had out here, I think it's harmful. I think a lot of people who are celebrating it are out of touch and are not considering the holistic implications of what his presence on the platform entailed, and also what the absence of him on a platform could potentially entail now in the future. And I think it's a negative thing. And I hope that that coming up, we get more in touch, and hopefully we can avoid things like this in the future. But yeah, and then of course the obligatory reminder: fucking Twitch, please be more transparent. Please fix your moderation. But yeah, with that out of the way, thank you very much. Those are my comments on Destiny being banned.